holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, God loves you and I love you too. I really love you. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. Yes, we do. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. What? We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every creed and color, all of us, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Whoa! So say hi to your neighbor. I know we're doing a little bit of safety. If you don't feel like hugging, give a handshake. Say hi. Woo! We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We do. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love.
We come together in the name of love. Celebrate that. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Parker. My name is David Howard. If I haven't met you yet, I get the privilege of being the minister here at this wonderful community. So thank you so much for coming today and bringing your love, your light, your energy to join us today. I have a few things I want to share with you before we get going, some things that you can participate in, and we hope you'll participate in. I'm going to get in front of that, I think. 2 weeks from today, October 1st, we're going to have a very special service during this time together. It's an honoring, celebration service. We're going to be honoring our board and our practitioners. We're going to be honoring our new music minister, Laura Berman, and we'll be honoring, yes, definitely something to honor, and officially welcoming your new minister. We do ask that you let us know if you're going to be attending and how many of you will be attending. There's a sign-up sheet over here on the table, and you can go on our website as well and sign up. We ask you to do that because we are having a catered meal after. Mediterranean catered meal. So we have some vegan and vegetarian options for those of us who are restrict our diets to some extent. We would like for you to sign up no later than next Sunday, so we know. And so Rainey and Janice and Jeanette and those who are on the committee can have a good head count and know how much food to order. So it's going to be fun, and hopefully you'll be able to join us. We have the space here until 1 p.m. that day, so we'll have some time to hang around and celebrate and have 2 p.m. 2 p.m. that day. Oh, okay. Today, after service, both the men's ministry and the women's ministry group will meet the third Sunday of every month. we get together and have a group. So if you're interested in that, we invite you to stick around and be a part of that. We do ask that if those of you who are willing after service to help clean up things, put things away, get things cleaned up so that those, not the same people are doing that every week and can also participate in the groups. So we appreciate your willingness to do that as well. Please know that we do have a prayer box that lives as on the table back there as you leave. It's a beautiful box. And there are prayer cards back there. If you have a prayer request, please fill out a prayer card, put it in the box, and know that your prayer requests are prayed for with our practitioners. And speaking of our practitioners, you see people walking around with these white stoles on. There are several people here today. They are practitioners, and they are trained, go through a lot of classes to learn more about prayer and mind treatment. And they are here to hold you and hold the consciousness of your truth with you. So if you would like prayer after service, please don't hesitate to ask one of them to sit with you and hold prayer with you. They love to do that, don't you? You love to do that. Also, October 7th, we're going to have a pet blessing. It's going to be at the park right down here. What's the name of the park? Tallman Meadows. Tallman Meadows. Okay. Tallman or Tallman? Tallman. Tallman. Tallman, okay. Tallman Meadows. It's not far down the street over here on Pet Blessing. And remind me of the time. 1 to 4. So bring your pets, invite your friends. It's a wonderful opportunity to let people know about us and to have your pets blessed. And so we'd love for you to be a part of that as well. The class that I'm facilitating is Beyond Limits. It started last week. If you'd like to be a part of that, it's Wednesday evening, 6:30 to 8:30 on Zoom. If you'd like to participate and you didn't participate last week, this week would be the last opportunity to join that. So sign up online, or there's some information back there you can sign up. So love to have you be a part of that. And speaking of our fellowship, Felina has something she would like to share with everyone about that. Come on down, Felina. She paid attention to not walk in front of the camera. How about that?
Yay!
All right.
Thank you. So we're going to try something new when it comes to hospitality. So I hope you guys will go with us on this journey. Every Sunday we'll have coffee, tea, juice, and whatever we have in stock that's, like little teeny things, especially for children. Packaged things. But on the third Sunday, which is when the women and men get together, we're going to have, bring what you would like. We're asking everyone to just bring what they want to share, and that'll be good because you are staying later to have your men and women's group, and so that's going to be appropriate to have food, and we still want to continue to do that. But we will only be doing the coffee and the tea and the juice and the water on the other Sundays now, okay? Does anyone have any questions? We'll see how, we'll see how it works.
Yes.
So is the subtext, don't bring food to share on the other Sunday?
Well, you could bring it. Well, you could bring it if you'd like to, but the people that have been doing it every Sunday are not going to continue to do that.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to say, as Felina said, thank you to those of you who have been doing that every week. That's been a great service to the people here, our community, and those of you who are practitioners. I know you have been doing that in addition to the other things that you do. So thank you for that. And I also want to say, if there's anyone else in our congregation who would like to take that on and do something different with that, we would certainly welcome that as well, if you want to take on leading that fellowship. I think it's important for us to have time to get together. And I think it's important for the practitioners to step back and to do what is theirs to do. And that's not necessarily that. So welcome any of you who would like to do that. So I want to invite one of our practitioners, Ann Grove, up now to share a reading with us.
Thank you. Today's reading comes from this, oh my, there's sun there. Let There Be Light. Comes from this great little book by Ernest Holmes that I discovered late in my CSL world. It's called Creative Ideas, a spiritual compass for personal expression. And what it is, it's kind of like a daily reading, but it doesn't have dates assigned to it. It just has topics instead. So, today's reading is entitled, My Associations Are Harmonious. By love, serve one another. Galatians 5:13. There is one Spirit incarnated in everyone, an immortal presence causing everyone to live. What a difference it would make in our human relationships if we tried to sense the full meaning of the divine incarnation in all people and adjusted our viewpoint to the truth that we are all bound together in the unity of God. While it may seem to be otherwise, it is still true that behind all this vast array of life, there is but one common cause, one universal mind, one infinite spirit flowing into, through, and becoming everything. Excuse me. Obviously haven't read this enough to break the back of it. I no longer meet people partially, but open my thought and feeling to the truth. That there is but one living spirit in and through all people. The divine presence with the same impulse of love and life manifests in infinite variations and is never alike in any two people. Knowing that the one who loves the most will live the most. Today, I go forth to meet life as I feel it really is. I shall see only the divine presence in everyone, shall sense and feel the one life in all. I affirm this presence in myself and others and accept its beneficent action. I act as though it were now manifesting as love. Therefore, I know that it will be because it already is.
Increase my faith in the things I cannot see, the things I cannot prove, that I choose to believe. When my confidence it's these words I pray. Increase my faith. Increase my faith. Open my mind and free. That's how I wanna be. The gift I wanna give to the people I lead.
Let each of us
Let each of us sing our own harmony.
peaceful and free.
Peaceful and free. Peaceful and free. Peaceful and
Let's take an opportunity to settle in where we are. Feel yourself being supported by the chair. Feel your feet against the floor. Just allow yourself to come fully present into this now moment as you become aware of your body. Become aware of your breath. As you gently breathe in and out. Allowing that breath to be a reminder that you are ever in the flow of that divine impulse of life that is breathing you into being. Breathing you into being in every moment. That life that you cannot see, yet you know is present in every moment. Increase my faith, increase my willingness to know and to be the livingness of that life in every moment. Increase my faith. Open my eyes, open my mind, open my heart, open every aspect of my being to know that truth. To live that truth. Open my heart to know the divine love that is expressing in me and through me and as me. That energy that I cannot see, but I know is my truth. The energy of love, divine love that loved itself so much that it gave itself as me to the world, to love and to be loved. I do not know how or why, but I open my heart, I open my mind, I open my eyes to experience, to see from the depth of my being, and to feel into that divine energy. So breathe into it. Breathe into the awareness of love. The love that you are. The love of the divine, the love of God. That is your truth. With every breath, with every heartbeat, be reminded the energy of love that you are. Allow that energy of love to do its perfect work in your body, in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart, in your life. It is a healing energy, an intelligent energy, an energy that loves and heals and attracts unto itself all that is needed in every situation. And so in this moment, we open ourselves up, we claim it, we choose to know it and be the expression, the very beingness of love itself. So take a deep breath, ground that energy right here, right now. And let us affirm it together by claiming and exclaiming. And so it is.
Increase my faith in the things I cannot see, in the things I cannot prove, yet I choose to believe. When my confidence fades, it's these words that I pray. Let's sing, increase my faith. 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 Say hi to Ryan Barnett.
Good morning. Don't turn away. Just say what you need to say. You're not alone, but you've got to move on. You've got to let go when the passion surrenders. When that dream you share is no longer there, and though it hurts so much, tell me how in the world can you blame it on love? Don't say it's love that broke your heart when you trusted someone, 'cause love's the victim, not the crime. And love will be there to break your fall if you'll trust in love. Know that love would never break your heart, but love can break your fall. I know it's hard to trust again, but I'll stay with you, stay with me now. Let go of your heartache and learn to forgive. Won't you wait just a moment? Give your heart a chance to begin again. And though you've run before, tell me, where will you go when you walk out that door? Don't say it's love that broke your heart when you trusted someone, 'cause love's a victim, not the crime. Love will be there to break your fall if you trust in love, just in love. Know that love would never break your heart, but love can break your fall. I could never have found my own way. Oh no, it was love that saved this heart of mine from dying. And when you find that love is all that you have, then you will see love is all that you need.
Is it on? Oh, it's on. There we go. I lost my place here. I want to remind us that our theme for this year is living out loud. Yay! Our theme for September is loving out loud. And our theme for today is love thy neighbor. Yay! There was no yay for that one. So, and I also want to preface today by saying that if anyone here has an allergy to the Bible or an allergy to Jesus, that you might be developing a little congestion today. Because I'm going to be using the Bible a bit today and talking a little bit about our brother and our way shower and our teacher, Jesus. Yay! And I want to start by sharing from Science of Mind, the book by Dr. Ernest Holmes that really is the foundational teaching of our movement. And this is what he says about love. He uses John 13:34 and 35 as the basis for what he says here. And that scripture says, "A new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. By this everyone shall know you are my disciples." And Dr. Holmes says, love is the central flame of the universe, nay, the very fire itself. It is written that God is love and that we are God's express likeness, the image of eternal being. Love is self-givingness through creation, the impartation of the divine through the human. He goes on to say that love is an essence, an atmosphere, which defies analysis and does life itself. It is that which is and cannot be explained. It is common to all people, to all animal life, and evident in the response of plants to those who love them. Love reigns supreme over all. And that struck me as I read what he said about love is an essence, an atmosphere, an energy, a vibration that defies analysis. It can't be explained. How do we talk about love? I'll be honest with you, I've struggled a bit with that how do we talk about love in so many different ways, but how do we really talk about love, which is really indefinable? And as I thought about that, I thought, well, how do we talk about anything? Every word we say is really a metaphor for something else. How do we talk about electricity? We don't know what it is. I mean, we don't know how it works. We don't know how gravity works necessarily, but, I mean, we know that it works. But we use that word as a metaphor for something much bigger and broader and expansive, just like we do with love. So how do we talk about this thing that we call divine love, except in the way that we experience it, and the way that we live it, the way that we choose to be it and example it and experience it and express it? How do we talk about it? Except in the way that we live it. And I believe the reason I said that about an allergy to Jesus or the Bible is because it wasn't too long ago that I had those allergies for various reasons. But I've come to really understand through my new thoughts, studies, and prayer, and my own meditation, and my own inner relationship with what I believe is the Christ energy that Jesus so beautifully embodied and manifested in the human, is that I believe he was a teacher of love, a voice of love, a manifestation of love. And I believe that was his religion, as far as we know. So I want to share with you a story that about an interaction I had with a cousin of mine. Some of you know that I grew up in Georgia, small town, born in a small town, grew up around this very traditional Christian ideology, mostly Baptist, which I am very grateful for my foundation, honestly. These days, I'm very grateful for my foundation in the Christian tradition. But I grew up, and I sort of navigated away from that, obviously. But I have a lot of family who didn't. A lot of family who are really still ingrained in that tradition, or it's ingrained in them, let me say it that way. So recently I had this opportunity to attend a wedding of a cousin in New Orleans earlier in the year. I actually sang for her wedding in the, what is it? It's the cathedral there in Jackson Square. It's a beautiful facility. It was nice. That's beside the point. But anyway, I got to have an interaction with some of my cousins. And the funny thing is that I was at this gathering, and one of my cousins that I've had kind of an interesting relationship with, I'll tell you a little bit more about that as well, but he went through a very contentious divorce recently. Beautiful, beautiful song, because it goes very well with what this story is about. And he has 2 daughters, and so I was asking him about his daughters and how are they doing and all of that. And I said, well, and how is Hayden, his ex-wife? And he was like, I don't really care how that, you know, that whole thing. And I said, really? I said, I'm sorry that you're going through that. And I said, even though, you have all that stuff going on with her, you could still love her. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. And I said, well, isn't that what Jesus would do? And he said, well, I'm not Jesus. And I said, well, I understand that, and I kind of just let it go. But it really struck me that therein sort of lies the difference in some of the teaching that Jesus is someone to be worshipped, someone to be admired, but certainly not someone that we can strive to be like. Somehow he's a deity to be put on a pedestal. He's our Savior. He's totally apart from us. But I think what we teach, what we believe, is that Jesus was just an example, right, of what's possible, of what we can truly strive for, the embodiment of unconditioned love. Unconditional love. Jesus, in part of the Sermon on the Mount, he says in one of the, in Matthew 5, and he's talking about, he said, if you're at the altar, ready to give your gift, and you realize that there you have something against someone or someone has something against you, it's best for you to leave it and go take care of that. Clean it up. And then he goes on to say, or else you might find yourself taken into prison and kept there until you have repaid every debt that you owe. Now, what I think he's saying to us about that is that, it's, well, let me just say this. What I got about it for me is that it's so easy to talk about love. It's so easy to say, oh, I love unconditionally. I love you. I love you until you do something to piss me off. All right? I love you until you disagree with me. Right? I love you as long as I feel peaceful and joyous and loving in your presence. And I think that's what I take from that scripture, is that Jesus is saying that is not really love. And if you are here trying to give that gift of love to someone at the altar of this relationship or the altar of whatever it is you're doing, if you're here to give that gift and you're pretending that you're here with divine love, with pure unconditional love, you better think again. Because chances are you are not coming with a pure heart. Who are you holding something against? Who are you blaming? Who are you resenting? We cannot hold someone or anyone outside the circle of love without being outside of it ourselves. Imagine this is the circle of love right here. Hans told me that this is my square today, so I have to stay in the square today. So imagine that this is the square of love. And I can be in this square, this energy of love, and I can hold him, but somebody pisses me off. And guess what? Who's outside the circle of love? I am. And guess who suffers? I do. The person who I'm holding something against may have absolutely no idea. But I do. And if I have done something that has stimulated pain for another, this is one thing I love about the 12-step recovery program, is this process of making amends to people. And I love this idea of making amend, because when we do things that stimulate pain for other people, intentionally or unintentionally, we create this separation. It's like this tear in the bond of love. It becomes a tear in the bond of love. And our opportunity is to make amend, to go back to that person if possible, to talk to them about what we did or why we did it, and apologize and clear it up. Because we cannot truly know and experience divine love until we're willing to clean that stuff up and allow all of that to get out of the way so that the energy of love can express itself freely through us. I know that when somebody does something that stimulates pain for you, whether that's physical, emotional, spiritual, it is easy to feel justified in blaming them, isn't it? Jesus is calling. Are we willing to answer? Yeah. Because what I really want us to get is that when we understand that love is an atmosphere, love is an energy, love is a vibration, and we are the vessels through which that energy can express. But it can't express unconditionally through us because we have all this energy that is conditioning it. Right? So our opportunity is to clear away that stuff, practice forgiveness, make amends. You may need to forgive yourself. Because if you don't, as the story says, you're the one that is imprisoned. And you're never going to be free until you let that stuff go. No, I said stuff. Let that stuff go. And I know it's not always easy. I get that. But we can align to love. We can call forth love. We can choose love. And allow the vibration of love to do its work. To transmute some of that energy. To release some of that heavier energy. Right? Is anybody developing congestion yet? So another interaction I had with this same cousin several years ago. Well, we had this conversation once when we were together, and he was challenging everything that I believe. Talking about the Bible, and the Bible says this, and the Bible says that, and da-da-da-da-da. And we were having a conversation. He was trying to convince me I was wrong, which is fine. I wasn't trying to convince him that he was wrong. I was just, telling him what I believe. And we had that exchange, and then a while later, I guess it was not that long ago, really, something happened on Facebook, and he started typing this stuff about how I am not a man of God, and I am not godly, and I don't believe in the Bible, and I don't teach the Bible, and I'm teaching people, and I'm leading people to hell. Right? I'm leading people to hell. Right? I don't have that power, first of all, but anyway, so we had this exchange. And it reminded me of that, how we are so quick to judge those who have different beliefs than we have. But it's easy for us, I know that's not any of you here, but how we can set ourselves apart. I know I've heard of people recently who have ended decades of friendship because they don't share the same political party or belief. Decades of friendship. I know a friend who has been somewhat shut out from friends, very dear family friends, because this person revealed that they are transsexual. I know people who have been disowned by their families because of their sexuality. And growing up in the South, I was very aware of racism. And I'm not sure it's not still pretty pervasive in some of those areas. But see, they become our isms. Religionism, right? Nationalism, tribeism, sexism, heterosexism, racism. All of those isms that we believe are somehow people are different from us. And so we have these isms, and these isms become schisms. They separate us from each other. They create this tear in the fabric of humanity. And our opportunity with love is to mend those tears. Again, going back to the teaching of Jesus, and he said, what is the greatest commandment? And Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart and your soul and your mind. And the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. And what we know in New Thought, what we know in Science of Mind, is that God is immanent, God is transcendent, and God is immediate. God is not just out there somewhere, God is right here. And God is right here, and God is right here, and God is right here. God is right here in the flesh, right in front of us. When we look in the mirror, God is in the flesh. God is in the earth. God is in the animals. God is in the plants. God is in all that is. So it's not just about loving God, our idea of God. It's about recognizing God is in the flesh. And when Jesus said, love God with all your heart and all your mind and all your spirit and all your soul, I don't believe he was talking about just this idea of God. He was talking about God right here, right now. And to love your neighbor as yourself. That can be interpreted in many ways. Love your neighbor like you love yourself, or love your neighbor as though your neighbor is yourself, because your neighbor is yourself. Right? We're one. We are one. And that story that he tells about the Good Samaritan and all of that, it's so easy for us. I love that story. It's so rich. Because he talks about the man who was left for dead on the side of the street by the robbers. And the priest just walks on by. Doesn't pay any attention. The Levite just walks on by. And what that represents to me is a religion or a belief in separation, in duality, in ideas, and not a lived religion, not a lived spirituality. What I believe about what we teach is that it is to be a lived spirituality. Not religiosity, not just words, but actions. And to love those who are different from us. When they ask, well, who is my neighbor? And Jesus said this, he talked about the Samaritan. Well, you remember Jews and Samaritans did not get along very well. They did not like each other. In fact, if you read that scripture, right before that, there's a story of Jesus when he's making his journey to Jerusalem, and a Samaritan city would not even let him come in. And I think it's funny because the disciples said, well, Jesus, do you want us to smite them? Do you want us to pray and have rain of fire come down on them and destroy them? Jesus said, what are you talking about? Why would we do that, right? Love your neighbor. Love those who would persecute you. And then finally, I want to share a good part of that story with my cousin. That after some of these exchanges, he and I had an opportunity to sit down and talk, have a heart-to-heart. And I got to find out more about his life and his struggles, his journey. He got to find out more about my life and my experience and my struggles. And what he eventually said to me was that, I'm really sorry for what I said about you. He said it was coming from a place of pain. Because when you left, when you moved away from our family, I lost my big cousin. I lost someone who was important in my life. And that was very healing for both of us. So what I want to remind us, too, is that we are all innocent. And our opportunity is to see our own innocence and the innocence of each other. Growing up in the Baptist church, I think one of the scriptures I heard almost every week was John 3:16 and 17. If you're familiar with that, God so loved the world that gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. And what I want to remind us of through that teaching, God is a synonym for love. So love, so loved, that it sent you as an emissary of love, so that whoever believes in the power of love and lives love knows eternal life, knows that life is eternal, knows that you cannot be harmed in truth, knows that no one has the power to harm you, no one can destroy you, no one has the power to hurt you. Do you understand that? No one. You are eternal beingness, light, love. And when you know that, when we believe that, when we embody that truth, eternal life is ours. Right? Because you were not sent here to judge or condemn. You're here to uplift, to redeem, to love, and to lift all into the energy and the power of love. And that that to me, when we realize it, when we know it, when we embody it, we truly are born again. Born again in our innocence, in our truth. Jesus might have said being born of spirit, being born of the Spirit. I believe that is our desire, our deepest, heartfelt desire. To know ourselves as that and to live that. To be the expression of that. So, I think that's all I have to say today. Let's take a moment. Let's just take a moment, take a breath. Once again, feel into that energy of love that is all around you, through you, as you, expressing, living itself in this moment. Know that you are here as an expression of that love, an emissary of love and light in this place, right here, right now, today. And that we are here to uplift humanity, to uplift those who show up before us, to heal, to serve, to minister to them in whatever way they happen to present themselves. Because love is a healing power, and we are its vessels in this human form. So affirm that, claim that, own that, and most importantly, choose in every moment to be that. So remember your truth, remember your light, remember you are love expressing. And in that way, we co-create, truly co-create a world that works for all. We claim it, we allow it, we are grateful for it, and together let us say, and so it is.
We're just getting out of that talk there, a little watery, a little. All right. We're going to dance, I think.
We may need your help on this one a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
2, 3, 4. Yeah. Let's move it.
Think about it. There must be higher love down in the heart or hidden in the stars above. Without it, life is a wasted time. Look inside your heart and I'll look inside mine. Things look so bad everywhere. In this whole world, what is fair? We walk the line that we try to see, falling behind in what could be. Woo! Bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. Oh, bring me a higher love. It's that higher love I've been thinking of, yeah. Woo!
Come on.
Think about. Here we go. The world's a turning, and we're just hanging on, facing our fear and standing out there all alone. A yearning that is real to me. There must be someone who is feeling for me. Things look so bad everywhere in this whole
Oh, I forgot. Were we supposed to do that offering during that, weren't we? I forgot. Well, let us do it a little differently today then.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and pass the baskets. If you all would like to share your gifts, your offerings this morning as we pass the basket around, I just want to share with you something that some of us were here earlier and they were rehearsing. And Ann said, where is the 5,000 people that should be here to hear all of this, right? I mean, you guys are amazing. So,
That's John and Harry.
John
We got
and
Alan
Harry.
and Ryan. I'm
Yeah.
Laura. It's pretty rocking this morning, huh?
And Laura, of course.
let's just imagine that CSL Parker is somewhere where there are 5,000 people.
What?
You may not want 5,000 people every Sunday, but maybe once in a while. So, mental equivalents are very powerful. And so I know that we all are here together and we're looking and seeking maybe a space that is ours, where we are there and we can set up and we can leave our chairs in place and we can have our own space and we can have classes and workshops and things that we want to present so that we can share our love with this community in a vibrant and present way. And so I invite you to join us in visioning for that and holding the vision. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know when. We don't really know, and that's none of our business. Our business is to hold the vision, to feel into that awareness that we are in a place, in a space that is open with light and love, that we are an open community and that we have a space where we invite people in during the week, on Sundays, that we have all sorts of events happening that encourage people to remember and to know their own divinity from whatever tradition or spiritual tradition or practice they may come. We honor that. We celebrate that. And we know that there are many paths to the awareness of the divine. And we are grateful for that. So feel into that. Claim it. See it. Know it is true. And we know that as we put it out into law, it returns to us manifest in ways that we could not possibly even imagine. And we are so grateful and so blessed. And let us claim, and not just claim, but exclaim together. And so it is. Thank you.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Oh, let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Oh, let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and we say amen.
And we know that we are blessed. We are blessed by your presence. We are blessed by your gifts, your offerings. We know that they are given in love and they are shared in love, received in love. And we are blessed. We are grateful. And so it is.
So it is. 1, 2, 3, let's sing. Bring me a higher love.